Okay, hello. So we're here, Liberty, Denver, and Beth, and we're doing a little overview and instructional video for our great horned owl nesting behavior remote monitoring project. We want to go through some just things about the project and also maybe further define some terms and behaviors that we're going to be looking for on this cam. So Beth, if you could just give a little project overview, that would be great.
Yeah, so this is the first year we're going to be using the cameras to collect data on the behavior of owls, and we're hoping that this is going to be able to contribute to the overall knowledge of the species great horned owls, and also be a great way for citizens to participate in scientific research. So we've had a lot of enthusiastic observers on the cameras who are really interested in watching the owls and eager to help us out, and we are really excited to be able to harness that enthusiasm and turn it into some data that we might be able to use to learn more about this species. So we'll just be collecting behavioral data this season. It's kind of a pilot season to see how much data we can get of what type and how interested people are in participating.
Okay, great. Do you have anything to add to that, Denver?
Yeah, no, I think when we initially started the cameras, those were some of the ideas that we had. It's just a matter of being able to do it, and it opens up a whole new world of behavior ecology, especially nesting stuff. And given the fact that we can watch them 24/7 and using the infrared at night, things that we really didn't know before, we're now going to be able to explore. And then, as Beth said, maybe we'll be able to quantify it and add some kind of neat new behavioral information, particularly about the breeding season, what females do, what males do, and all that. And we can use it after this, maybe for a wide range of species.
Yeah, I agree. And viewers have been documenting so many cool things for such a long time. So it is neat to have specific categories. We can't quantify everything, but to at least narrow it down so we are harnessing some of those things. So okay, so then let's kind of go through, I guess let's start with some things to remember when recording events, like important points to keep in mind.
Okay, the first thing is that we don't want any guesswork taking place, I guess. So if you see a behavior and you're not exactly sure what it was, say maybe you thought a prey delivery took place, but it took place off of the camera, or you think an egg might be pipping based on the female's behavior, but you really can't see the egg, we prefer that you don't record it as a certain behavior. You can record it as other and write in the notes that you think it might be that behavior, but we really don't want to guess and record something that might not be certain.
Okay. All right. And then I think in our sheet we also put things to remember are to please record, though. This project won't move forward unless you are making those notes and making recordings. And what was our other thing? Err on the side of caution, record, and what was the third one? Oh, it was to get accustomed to the behaviors before we're making the calls, and so that's part of the reason we're doing this video.
Yeah, exactly. So feel free to watch for a little while, practice recording. Once you feel comfortable with what you're seeing, go ahead and record it. And don't worry about getting something wrong. It's fine if you want to add in the notes that you're unsure or that you're new, just so we can look back at the behavior. That's fine. But feel free to participate. You don't have to be an expert on owls or anything to do this. We're trying to make it accessible to anybody, and we also welcome comments. If you're not understanding, feel free to contact us and we'll help you understand. And there's a lot of very knowledgeable viewers who are participating in the chat on the camera who can also help answer some of your questions.
Okay, great. So let's get into the events then. So the first thing is prey delivery. And we have a whole list. So once you select prey delivery, then you get to choose from a list of potential prey. Anything you'd like to say or clarify about prey delivery?
Yeah, so prey delivery is when the male owl brings a prey item back to the nest, and he'll either give it to the female, sometimes he might give it to a chick when they're older, and the female might give it to one of the chicks. So you'll have the option to select who was fed that prey item, which right now it's going to be the female was fed the prey item, and you'll also have the option to select what type of prey it was. So if you can see what species it is, that's great. Again, err on the side of caution. If you see a rodent with a short tail and you think it might be a pocket gopher but you're not sure, just say rodent and write in the notes probable pocket gopher and take snapshots. It's always great to utilize those snapshots. So if we want, we can go back and try and see if we can get a better ID on that. But we do have prey items separated into broad categories when you need. So bird, rodent, maybe mouse would be a little more obvious if it had a longer tail. But again, you don't need to guess and you don't need to know too. It's fine. You can always write unknown prey item, and that's great too. We're still getting the delivery rates, and we can always go back and look at the prey item.
Okay, great. All right, female leaves, and let's do female leaves the nest first. So when exactly should we record her leaving the nest?
Yeah, so female leaves the nest. We are defining that as when she is off the egg. So as soon as she stands up and her brood patch is not covering those eggs, we'll count that as off the nest. So even if she just stands up and goes off to the side a little bit, that counts as off the nest. And then the time she's back on the nest is when she's incubating those eggs again.
Okay, great. Okay, so then the first term associated with chicks is a pip in the egg. And, you know, I know that we defined some of these categories before the cam was live and thought maybe the eggs would be visible. They're not. So pip, there might be some behaviors that could indicate that, but why don't you give us some more information in terms of recording?
Yeah, so as far as recording pip, we're probably not going to be able to do it with this camera angle. You might see the female show a little more interest in eggs once they start pipping. Denver, I'm not sure if you want to weigh in on
Yeah, we do have to be kind of careful with that, because I remember last year with the Snowy Owl cam, we had some of the viewers saying, oh, we think the eggs have hatched, and you're given the female's behavior, but no one could actually see them. And it's really tough to see it. And sometimes the chicks are making vocalizations from inside the egg before they come out, and the female can hear them. And so maybe she's turning it, maybe she's listening. So we don't know for sure. So we just have to be super careful with that, you know.
Yeah, the female does spend a fair amount of time tending to the eggs, turning them over, checking on them, cleaning out the nest. That could be misinterpreted. So if you think you see or hear a pip going on, feel free to record it, but just please write in the notes that, you know, this is the behavior that you saw associated with a pip.
Okay.
Same thing with hatching, I guess, where you might not be able to see hatching.
Right.
The chicks are a little bigger.
Yeah, okay. All right, and eyes open seems pretty self-explanatory, but anything you want to expand on there?
Yeah, no, this one is a little bit new to me to record. So as soon as you see a chick open their eyes, and if they close them again, that's fine. You can go ahead and record open again. But we're thinking of basically once the chick is able to open its eyes, because when they're hatched, they have their eyes closed for a few days, and then they'll open them. So not necessarily every time a chick goes to sleep and then opens its eyes, but we're looking for the moment at which you first see this chick able to open their eyes.
Okay. Okay. One item that we made the decision to take out of the survey after it went live was barred appearance. And why don't you just talk a little bit about what that was about?
Yeah, I don't even remember.
Yeah, the barred appearance, we were thinking of trying to figure out when the chicks were starting to get another set of feathers. So they're born with a very white snowy down, and then they go into mesoptile down. And so you can kind of see a change in the pattern on their plumage that looks a little barred, but we decided that was too gradual a process, and we didn't need to record that. But if you do see something interesting with feather growth, again, feel free to write it in or to just let us know and ask questions about it.
Okay. All right, next event category is branching.
So we're defining branching as when the chicks go out of the nest, maybe out on a branch, maybe even just out on the very rim of the nest, but then they're returning back to the nest at some point. So they're leaving the nest, but not for good.
Okay. And then fledging.
Fledging we're going to define as when the chicks leave the nest for good. So usually they're going to go a little farther than just branching. They might not be able to fly yet. They might be jumping. They might jump to the ground or to another tree, and we'll consider that fledging or having left the nest.
Okay. And we're just not sure how much of that we're going to be able to see.
Yeah.
Right.
It just depends. Yeah. Okay, so predator at the nest. Anything you want to say about that?
You know, That should be pretty easy. I would think. With something like a great horned owl, I don't think we're going to have too many threats. But something like a raccoon can certainly, climb up into a nest, investigate, and how the owls deal with it. It's probably an individual thing, but I imagine they'll be aggressive. But that would be kind of easy, a raccoon, but who knows? Maybe something else shows up. Maybe another. I don't know if we'd be able to identify an intruding great horned owl, but if we saw another species of owl, like remember on the cam where we had the great horn come to the great gray nest as a predator and take a chick. So we should be able to identify most things pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes you might not be able to see the predator, but you'll be able to see the adult owls like fighting something off or making calls or leaving the nest, and record that too as an unknown predator, unless maybe you heard a red-tailed hawk or something, then you could record it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And then let's see. The last category is just other, for interesting events that people see that they feel are noteworthy. So to just go ahead and write those notes in, and we'll look at it. One thing that I know one viewer asked was if we should record when the male great horned owl visits the osprey platform in the night. And I said, I don't think we need to record that. But the follow-up question was, how about if the owl attacks the male osprey in the night? And that is something that we do want to record. So if you see that happen, do make note of the time.
Yeah, most of the cam watchers have been doing it for a while. They would probably understand kind of an unusual event.
Yeah.
And so anything you think is maybe unusual, I think is worth recording.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I can say that we are really excited about this project. We've been working hard to get it put together, and we're excited to finally be collaborating with all of you in a really specific way. So it's a big step for us, and like we said earlier, we definitely want to do this with our other cams moving forward. So anything either of you want to add?
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about this, because here we are using technology to do what I think is something that we've kind of abandoned with technology, is behavioral ecology. What do these animals really do? And I think today we make a lot of inferences using technology, like tracking by satellite, for example, something like that. So we make inferences and not necessarily, we really don't know what they're doing. But now we're going to use technology to really peer into what they're doing. And I think for me, that's really exciting, because I've felt we've kind of abandoned behavioral ecology, and now we have an opportunity to get back into it, into the secret life of what goes on at night. And I've learned so much just about great gray owls in the past several years, and I thought I knew a lot about owls, and now I'm just totally like, oh gosh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know they were so vocal. I didn't know they're active, and so it's allowing me with 40 years of experience doing this to learn all these new things. So I'm really thrilled about it, and thrilled to have your input.
Yeah, great. All right. Well, yeah, we look forward to seeing your responses, and I think that's it. Okay. All right. Bye-bye.